Hey everybody, thanks for joining us back in as we read a little bit more of The One and Only Bob. Okay, here we go. We pick up on page 78. This one's called Drulius. I knew this guy back when I hung out at the mall with Ivan and Ruby. Nice dog, named Drulius. Basic mutt, maybe some lab and golden in there somewhere. He'd done some hard time at a couple shelters. One of those dogs, had seen more than his share of the bad stuff the world can throw it your way. One ear bitten off, scars, a limp. Drulius lived in his backyard, winter, spring, summer, fall. Chained up mostly. Flies on his food, empty water bowl way too often. Still, he always had a nice word to say when I'd pass him on my daily rounds, checking out the neighborhood trash cans. Once I saw his owner, again, that word, step onto the back porch. Once I saw his owner, again, that word, step onto the back porch. Drulius was barking, but he had a good reason. A stranger had just passed by.
What is a stranger?
Stranger is just somebody that you don't know.
Oh.
Barking is what we're supposed to do in that circumstance, right? Maybe he's the UPS guy. Maybe he's a serial killer. I mean, come on, we're not the FBI. So anyways, owner came out, big guy, mean looking, gave Drulius a hard kick with his boot and yelled, "Shut up, you fool," and disappeared. Drulius looked at me, kind of embarrassed. We kept talking. A few minutes later, the owner came out again, put some towels on a line. Drulius headed over, tail between his legs, cowering, saying, "I'm sorry, I love you. I am yours, yours, yours," with his whole dog being. Guy completely ignored him, headed back inside. "He's having a tough time," said Drulius, when the guy was gone.
Lily and Hawaiian and Papa Tom.
He's a jerk, I said, because subtlety is not my strong point. No, he loves me. He does. Well, he has a funny way of showing it. Well, humans, said Drulius, licking a sore on his leg. You know how they can be. Ugh, do I ever. But we got to stay true. Love 'em, forgive 'em. I thought about that. Thought about it a lot. Why, though? I finally asked. Why do we have to forgive them? Drulius looked shocked and then confused, as if I just asked why cheese tastes good. It just does. That's the way it is, he said. That's what we do, Bob. I started to reply, but I managed to hold my tongue, which is not easy for me. It's a very long tongue with a mind of its own. There was no point in making Drulius feel worse than he already did. Later that morning, I found myself half a turkey sandwich, and I gave the whole thing to him. Well, okay, I had a taste first, but still. This one's called Forgiveness. Seems like forgiving humans is one of those doggy things we're all supposed to do, like having zoomies or doing bed boogies. It's written into our canine souls.
I really want to know what it means. More than not know what it means.
Which word, buddy?
I want to know all of it.
All of them. Anytime a word comes up, just ask me. Well, somehow I didn't get the memo. The one that apparently
memo.
The memo? Oh, it means like he didn't get the notice, the flyer. He didn't get the word. The one that apparently went out to every other dog on the planet about forgiveness. Why should I forgive the humans who tossed me and my siblings out into the night? When you forgive, you lose your anger. When you lose your anger, you get weak. And when you're weak, you can get hurt all over again. This one's called The Art of Human Watching. So remember, Bob is a dog, so he's going to watch humans. By the time we reach the park, the sky is definitely in a bad mood. Gray clouds galloping like panicked horses. The nervous scent of rain on the way, the kind that makes you antsy in your own skin. When we get near the employee entrance, I hop into Julia's backpack like always. We enter through the special gate where George shows his ID, checks in, and says hi to the staff. Pet dogs aren't allowed in the park. Natch. Foxes, wolves, jackals, my dog cousins, they are. But in my opinion, even though they're technically part of my extended family, they're nothing like dogs. Only dogs have perfected the art of human watching. The smartest thing we ever did was figure out how important the human gaze is. So often, when we follow our owner's eyes, we're rewarded with something amazing. A smelly sock, a glazed donut that's fallen on a smelly sock. We follow every blink, every sidelong glance.
That's silly.
I know. Remember, this is written in the point of view of a dog. We see it, whatever it is, before humans do. We understand before they do. And if there's a glazed donut involved, we eat it before they do. This one's called Puppy Eyes. It's mid-morning, still pretty early. There aren't many visitors around yet. We've got a meeting in 20, George tells a couple workers, Hank and Sonia, who've grown. Just a quick one, going over contingency plans one last time in case there's any flooding. During the last hurricane, a small part of the park flooded, mostly near Reptileville. George helped move cages. He came home smelling like cottonmouths and copperheads.
Why?
It was all I could do not to barf. I don't know.
Why?
He must have been in the Reptileville moving reptiles for so long that the smell stuck to him. Weather Service just issued a tornado watch, Hank says. I thought we were having a hurricane, Julia says. We are, Gus, but sometimes tornadoes are spawned during hurricanes, George explains. Julia frowns. But a watch means maybe, not for sure, right? Yeah, but I want you to head home, George says, just in case. Please, Dad, just 10 minutes, Julia says. She's using the special voice she reserves for moments when she really, really wants something from her parents. I guess kids manipulate their moms and dads the same way dogs manipulate humans. I don't know, George begins. I promised Bob. I figure that's my cue to pop my head out and look adorable. So I do. Hey, Bob, says Hank. Sonia reaches over and scratches my ears. I'm pretty popular around the park. I give George my best puppy eyes and he caves. 10 minutes tops, he says. Meet me back here. Puppy eyes. Works every time. This one's called Mr. Oog. Here's how I figured puppy eyes got their start. Cave humans were sitting around a fire wearing mammoth fur and grunting about how there was nothing on TV because TV hadn't been invented yet, and some wily wolf thought, whoa, they've got leftover mammoth meat? And he probably whimpered and cowered and did a tummy display and looked pathetic enough that Mr. Oog finally tossed him a bone. And soon enough, a few zillion years later, voila, man's best friend. After all that time, there's a thing like a magnetic attraction between dogs and humans. We've studied them for so long, we can read every twitch and sigh. Where are you going? Okay, suppose it was easier than chasing down mammoths. And I get it, I do. The behind the ears scratch, the food in a fancy bowl, the bed by the fireplace. Got to admit that Julia's pretty fun to hang out with, and I'm grateful, really I am, that her family took me in. Still, I don't need them. You need someone. Eventually, they let you down and you end up feeling like a real doofus.
What do you do this?
Doofus just means like not okay. All right, check back later.